Welcome to the Uplift. Get on in here. We have a great show for you today and a great cast of characters, including a teacher who needed a life-saving transplant and the hero in his life who came to the rescue. A basketball player who overcame several hurdles to play on his college team. And a barber who's dedicated to helping kids with special needs. Plus, have a marvelous time with Mrs. Maisel. Anthony Mason recently visited the set of the comedy series and got a behind-the-scenes look at a show as it heads into its final season. And take a trip to our nation's capital to get a close-up look at an iconic symbol of springtime. All that plus our heartwarming videos you just need to see. You're watching The Uplift. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Nate Burleson, and this is a show that will lift you up, well, at least for the next 30 minutes. We begin with the history-making gymnastics team, paving the way for young girls. Here's Jan Crawford.
With every soaring leap, 17-year-old Morgan Price and her teammates at Nashville's Fisk University are making history.
I was just so excited for this opportunity that is like once in a lifetime.
African-American gymnasts are some of the sport's biggest stars. But in 41 years of college gymnastics, Fisk is the first HBCU ever to field an NCAA gymnastics team.
I love a challenge. Give me a challenge.
New head coach Corinne Tarver knows about rewriting the record books. She was the first Black gymnast to win an NCAA all-around title. To build a program from scratch, she asked her recruits a question.
She said, "Do you want to make history?" And I was like, yeah.
Price, a five-star recruit, decommitted from the University of Arkansas to attend.
As I tell them all the time, it's about you learning. It's about you growing. It's about you getting better each week.
In their first year competing, these young women are excelling and drawing record crowds.
We are making a change in the gymnastics world, and that we are paving the way for the younger girls who look like us.
History from one generation to the next.
That's Black girl magic flipping their way into the history books. Coming up, when a teacher needed a life-saving transplant, someone close to him stepped up to help. Who gave him the selfless gift? Find out. Coming up in just a bit. Plus, our heartwarming videos you just need to see, including a follow-up to one of those viral videos you've seen on The Uplift. Stick around. Now we have those heartwarming videos you need to see, starting with two parents from Alabama receiving a gift from their son and daughter-in-law. They thought it was a joke. Take a look.
It's a box.
Yeah, a box and a box and a box. Who has ever done that to you?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm getting payback. I'm getting payback, too. I think it's It's like, I got business to take care of.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh!
Oh, I'm serious. Are you serious?
Look in there.
Oh!
Come on now, don't have me crying up here. The final gift at the end of all of those boxes was worth it. It was a onesie and a sonogram. Mom and Dad are going to be first-time grandparents. How about that? Okay, so you heard of retirement parties for humans, but how about dogs? A therapy dog called Norman recently got a rock star send-off in Australia. He worked as a therapy dog for 7 years, 5 of them at Sunshine Coast Hospital and Health Service, where he comforted sick patients. The hospital said Norman's visits were a highlight for many staff members who lined up to cheer for him on his last day of work. You go, Norman. See, honey, we need a dog. It's just another reminder. Okay, so you remember seeing our next video here on The Uplift. It shows a barber cutting a young boy's hair and having a grand old time. Well, that barber's gone viral for his care and attention towards kids with special needs. Caitlin O'Kane spoke to him about his dedication to his clients.
On his day off, Vernon Jackson still works, opening up his Cincinnati barbershop for VIP clients, children with special needs.
I was hearing so many horror stories that parents were going through with other barbershops, and just the barbers or stylists just having no patience with their child. So I figured I would, compromise by coming in on my day off where it would be no other barbers or stylists in the shop, and I can give them the full attention that they need, especially for children that are highly sensitive to new environments and to sound. And so I wanted to create a space where they can come in and get acclimated to the barbershop experience.
You do an awesome job, man.
Not only does he work on his day off, he does it for free.
When I first started promoting that I was going to come in on my off day to do haircuts for children with different needs, a friend of mine just, randomly inboxed me and said, "Hey, Vern, can I sponsor a haircut?"
More and more people were donating money for haircuts, so Jackson started the Gifted program to raise money for his clients.
These are parents that would pay any amount of money just for their child to be able to have an experience like any other person. And then at the end of it, I get to tell them, like, it's covered. Hey, no, I gotta give you a tip. Say, no, like, trust me, like, this is a part of the Gifted program. This is a gift from the community. Myself, please receive it.
Jackson also hopes to put the money towards travel, so he can provide free cuts to children with special needs across the country.
I've been getting inbox from people from Denmark, Australia, London, Uganda, of course, all over the country. It's really been a beautiful experience. This has allowed me to love and in my fullest capacity and to see what happens when I do.
I know you heard the phrase, not all heroes wear capes. I'll add to that. Not all heroes wear capes. Some put capes on kids and cut their hair. Shout out to him. All right, coming up, meet the college athlete who didn't let anything stop him from playing the sport that he loved. Plus, DC's famous cherry blossoms are an iconic sign of spring. Get a close-up look at the flowers, even if you can't make it to the nation's capital. When a beloved teacher was in desperate need of a kidney transplant, a hero close to him swooped in to save his life. Here's CBS Boston's Julie McDonald with the story.
If a kid didn't have lunch money, he'd give them lunch money. If a kid didn't have shoes, he'd give them shoes.
Dave Collins is beloved at Essex Tech in Danvers. He's the best kind of teacher. But last year, he was in the worst shape. After decades living with kidney disease, he was in end-stage renal failure and needed every other day dialysis to stay alive.
Because I'm a bricklayer, I'm a mason, and I'd be up working with the kids, laying bricks, and I'd have to sit down and I couldn't even pick my head up.
It broke me to see him in the pain, being unable to live the life I know that he was capable of living.
Daughter Shelby made it her mission to find her dad a kidney, and the perfect match came as a total surprise. Dave and Shelby's boss, the superintendent of Essex Tech.
You do it because it's the right thing to do. And, my parents always taught me to do what is right, not what is easy.
But it sure was easy getting the green light and calling her coworker and friend to change his life, to give him life.
Yeah, she said, pack your bags. I goes, what? She goes, yeah, we're going to Mass General together. I goes, you're kidding me. I said, well, I don't believe it until it's time. And it was time.
True educators, they scheduled the transplant during time off over February school vacation.
The living donor program, I have to say, at Mass General is the best. That's why we live in Massachusetts. I had the surgery on Tuesday, I was home on Wednesday, and I went back to work remotely on Monday.
Heidi said it was her love for her own daughters that made her so willing to do this for another dad.
It's like a fairy tale, really, And then they have my boss donate the kidney. That's pretty special, to give me a part of her.
And I'm so thankful. My father's going to be here to see the milestones in my life moving forward, and I'm an only child. My parents are my everything.
Teachers save lives all of the time. Somebody saved his. We now introduce you to a basketball player who overcame several hurdles to be able to play the sport that he loves. Here's CBS Los Angeles' Jake Reiner with the more.
He can dribble, he can shoot, and he can score. Just about the only thing 20-year-old Cerritos college basketball player Cade West can't do is here.
I want to be in the NBA, so I practice every day.
Cade is both autistic and deaf, so he always has sign language interpreters at practices and at games.
He taught me a lot of patience because being able to slow down and communicate things.
After working with Cade consistently since 2021 at a basketball class Coach Russ May taught at the school, the coach decided to add him to the roster for the 2022 season.
From that moment on, I mean, he kind of walked in our gym and he could not get enough basketball.
However, Cade needed an eligibility waiver from the State Community College Athletic Association because his special needs prevented him from completing the necessary academic credits to play.
Every 10, 15 minutes, I'd take a look at coach and I'd hope that maybe he'd call on me.
But toward the end of the season, with his waiver status not yet processed, Cerritos was dominating Porterville by 20 points, and there was a minute 39 left in the game. Coach May made his decision.
I got to reward this dedication, and I put him in.
Cade checked in and drove to the hoop for his first collegiate-level shot attempt.
I didn't expect to play, and I just felt really happy.
Unfortunately, because of the rule violation, they suspended Coach May for a game, and the team had to forfeit that victory, affecting their playoff seeding.
I just thought, to me, have people just lost their humanity?
I was sad for the team, and I blamed myself. I was sad and hurt.
Eventually, Cade was eligible to play in a couple of games towards the end, and boy, did his teammates love it every time he got the ball.
We get hyped. When we see him going, everybody knows, we can cheer for him. That's our guy, we gonna root for him.
It makes me feel good, like I'm a peer. They support me, a deaf person. It makes me feel happy.
Y'all know I love the sport of basketball. He might just be my new favorite player. So spring has sprung in many cities. And the nation's capital is known for an iconic sign of springtime, cherry blossoms. Nora O'Donnell takes us to a Washington park to see the peak bloom of the famous flowers.
It's a stunning show put on by Mother Nature.
It's one of my favorite times of year to be in DC.
And there's no bad way to see the famous cherry blossoms.
How's it going?
This is lovely.
Yeah, perfect.
Have you been here before? We've never been to the cherry blossoms. And it's gorgeous. It's breathtaking.
3,700 Japanese cherry trees dot the National Mall. Originally a gift from Japan, offered in 1912 as a symbol of friendship.
How many of them are original?
There might be around 10 trees in our park here that are some of the original trees.
Chief Arborist Matthew Morrison's full-time job is keeping the majestic trees alive.
How many arborists and caretakers are there for the trees?
Well, at one time there was maybe 15, and now we're down to 3.
You have 3 arborists taking care of more than 3,000 trees?
Yes, well, 3,000 cherry trees. We have 20,000 trees in the park.
With more than 1.5 million people coming to see the blossoms, these caretakers have had to work harder in the face of climate change.
What are some of the issues that you and your team have faced in recent years?
The extreme hot in the summer, the extreme cold, the extremely short winter, they're hard for us to combat.
Still, the trees are thriving, and there's nothing like seeing them in person.
What's your favorite part of the cherry blossoms?
They're pink.
They're pink.
I am definitely going to see that in person. Okay, when we come back, travel back in time to the mid-20th century on the set of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and hear from the cast of the acclaimed comedy. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has transported viewers back in time over the past 6 years. Anthony Mason recently visited the set of the acclaimed comedy series and spoke with the stars about their final season.
We're in Brooklyn now, and then we walk through this door, and we're in the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
That's right. This is the set. Welcome to my humble abode.
I have apartment envy.
So do I, honestly.
A visit to Midge Maisel's apartment is a trip back in time to early 1960s New York.
These candies may or may not have been here since the first season.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, would you like to try one?
That's okay. Thank you for offering.
In the final days of filming, Rachel Brosnahan,
Thank you, Mrs. Maisel.
who plays Midge Maisel, and Alex Borstein,
That's $4,050 for you and $450 for me.
who plays her manager, Susie Meyerson,
This is our living room.
gave us a tour of the set that would soon be struck.
Does it feel real to you in its own way?
It does after so many years.
Where the hell are we? What is this, Versailles?
It's my apartment.
Your table is set for 30. Who has cutlery for 30?
I know this apartment almost as well as I know my own.
That woman last night, she was not me.
Brosnahan was 26 when she won the part of the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It was a breakout role,
All of this goes in that mouth before you leave the seat, young man.
playing a divorced Jewish mother who becomes a stand-up comic.
My life completely fell apart today. Did I mention that my husband left me?
People said you couldn't do comedy.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you proved them wrong.
I don't know. It depends on who you ask. But
Am I supposed to find them intimidating? Because all I see is a lineup of men who had to go into comedy just to get laid.
Together, Midge and Susie take on the male-dominated world of comedy.
Okay. Let's kick some big-time comedy across all 5 boroughs. I'm making some calls tonight.
Your relationship is obviously critical to the show.
We always knew this was kind of the central romance of the show, the womance. She's had a marriage fail, but Susie remains and Midge remains. To me, it feels like the most important love story.
Another important love story.
This is the neighborhood.
This is our
Isn't it
neighborhood. This
beautiful?
is the Maisel neighborhood.
Midge's parents, Abe and Rose Weissman, played by Tony Shalhoub and Maren Hinkle.
We were worried, Miriam. Worried sick, if you must know.
Your mother vomited.
I did not vomit.
Well, she did something in the bathroom that took a very long time, and she did not come out looking happy.
We shot the pilot in this real apartment.
They reunited recently, after filming had ended, outside the building used for the exteriors of the Maisel apartment.
And here we are, home.
Here it is. Look at
I
it.
wish.
Do you miss it?
Yes.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yes.
We even missed the set.
That set was the most beautiful home I'd ever had, and as we finished, I actually said, "Could you lock me up in it?" And they didn't let me.
Yeah. I asked them to lock you up in it.
Shirley's coming in. She might be naked.
She walks around the house naked.
We gotta go.
You two have one of my all-time favorite TV relationships.
Oh, thanks. There's nobody I would rather be working with in the world than this person, and there wasn't one moment of tension in all those years, unless you're not telling me. Was there something that you felt? No, we literally delighted in the possibility of what we got to do every single day.
The show has taken Abe and Rose from Manhattan to Paris to a summer in the Catskills.
Ladies, welcome back to Steiner Mountain Resort. You're home away from home.
Hi, Polly.
I want to know what your reaction was when you got the script that had the Catskills calisthenics scene in it.
My reaction was, I need to go on a diet.
Touchdown every morning, 10 times.
And you were in a romper, correct?
Yeah, a romper, a one-piece
A
workout.
darling romper. Yeah. Did you get up there that day and just sort of like improv?
No, yeah, and I just making up these ridiculous.
Touchdown up every morning, down 10 times.
It was kind of liberating, and you know what I mean. I felt very courageous.
The climactic scene last season took place in Carnegie Hall, where Midge goes to watch her friend Lenny Bruce perform.
You should dig my point of view here, man.
What was it like to shoot in Carnegie Hall?
Well, I mean, you can imagine.
Yes.
Luke Kirby plays a fictional version of the real-life comic.
You as Lenny end up being kind of a grounding force for her and the North Star in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they have a really tender, beautiful friendship. There's a kind of honesty that they're able to have because they're not committed to each other in any way. They're just committed to the same craft.
I hear you turned down the Bennett gig.
Yeah, I did.
When Midge turns down a shot at opening for Tony Bennett, Lenny lays into her.
Don't you want this? Don't you want to be here?
He has no other responsibility to her but to be totally honest.
If you blow this, Midge, I swear.
That's why that moment is so powerful.
Yeah. Well, hopefully she listens to him.
It's showtime!
We'll soon learn how the story ends, but the actors have already said their goodbyes.
How's that feeling?
It's not good.
It's not.
It's terrible. It's not a good feeling. Everyone wants to say, is it bittersweet? I'm like, it's just kind of bitter right now.
But I think we're just all aware that we're breathing rarefied air when we're here, and and we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss each other.
I wish I could still do it.
You do?
Yeah, I never wanted to leave the character. She was the most delightful, and the people that we got to be. Did you feel that way when we finished?
Oh, totally.
It's
yeah,
just,
totally.
it's heart-wrenching to not be in the world. So thank you for bringing us back here today. Sense of this world, and I hope people will
With Abe and Rose, we took one last stroll through the Maisel neighborhood.
I don't want it to end.
Yeah, I agree.
They all come to an end. That's the problem.
That's our show. I hope this news brightened your day and lifted you up. And remember, keep on swinging. See you later.